This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Smoke and flames tore through a downtown Winnipeg restaurant early this morning. Bougie Restaurant, which occupies the former Earls at the corner of Main and York, is left charred and badly damaged. While the cause of the fire is still under investigation, one restaurant advocate says it's another blow to the downtown dining scene. The CBC's Mike Arsenault reports.
Bright orange flames leapt from the patio of Bougie Restaurant early Thursday morning. Emergency crews were called around 5:45 a.m. and found the building on fire. The patio doors and windows scorched. The restaurant now closed indefinitely.
I'm disappointed to hear that. I was just there on Tuesday night with my cousins. It was a great place to hang out. The food was fabulous.
We all hope that Winnipeg businesses thrive and do well. I know it's challenging. Winnipeg's a tough city for sure, but yeah, it's unfortunate. I feel bad for them.
The Manitoba Restaurant and Food Services Association says the fire is a blow to the hospitality industry.
Anytime we lose one in the downtown area, we're hurt even more. We need to have a thriving downtown hospitality scene. And anytime we lose any one of our partners in the downtown area, we take that to heart.
One of the owners of Bougie told us he's in shock, but didn't want to comment any further. Winnipeg Police Services forensic team and major crimes unit were on scene in the early afternoon. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but it comes on the heels of a string of alleged arsons and extortions at some central Winnipeg restaurants. Sean Jeffrey says Winnipeg needs to address its crime problem.
We need to utilize the various channels that we can at the various policing levels to try to make our downtown safer. We need to make it a place where people feel confident 100% of the time to go to, and that's just not the case right now.
In the spring, the Manitoba government teased a $2,500 rebate program that would lower the cost of security equipment for businesses. It's expected to launch in the fall. But when it comes to Bougie, Jeffrey's optimistic.
We know that Bougie will open up again. We are going to support them to make sure that happens.
The fire was declared under control within the hour, and no injuries were reported. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, now to a CBC I-Team investigation which found when the wildfire season began this May, the Manitoba government was short dozens of firefighting positions. That is according to documents obtained by CBC News through a Freedom of Information request. And as the I-Team's Kristen Annabel reports, there were also several vacancies in key fire management positions.
This is what Nopaming Provincial Park looked like the week of May 12th. Out-of-control wildfires, shutting down the park, and forcing everyone to evacuate with only hours' notice.
They're going to clear the trees, fix the structures.
Jesse Gunther, one of the owners of Nopaming Lodge, was one of those people.
When we were driving out, we were driving through flames and they were water bombing.
Even after the order was lifted, it was a tough season for Jesse's lodge, as most of Nopaming Park remained closed for the rest of the summer, cutting down on the sales in the store, his canoe rentals, and their lodge rentals. He said they lost about 50% of their revenue.
We took a huge hit. It's between people, like we had a bunch of cancellations while we were out, of course, or whatever, and then afterwards too because of the smoke around and everything's closed around here.
Now, CBC has learned that during that week in May, the Manitoba government was short more than 60 fire rangers and several managers who are supposed to manage operations in wildfire zones. Documents obtained by CBC through Freedom of Information show 64 seasonal fire ranger positions weren't filled when the wildfire season began on May 12th, and a further 1 in 4 full-time positions in the wildfire department were vacant.
It's a lack of preparedness, in my opinion. And considering the fact that we had to get a lot of out-of-province firefighters to come help up here, I know there was crews from Alberta, from Quebec, and even from BC out here working. So it would be nice just to be prepared for an event like this.
Stand up the fire service and stand up.
Ian Bushy, the Minister of Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures, says they are working on better recruitment and retention when it comes to wildfire fighters, and to have no vacancy next season.
The ultimate goal is to have them all filled, and really that's the goal, and that's the long-term goal, and also it's the short-term goal. We all should be looking to improve that each and every day.
Kyle Ross, the head of the union that represents these firefighters, says the province is making strides, but they need to be moving faster.
We're leaving these jobs vacant is like gambling or rolling the dice, right? If you don't have a big fire season, you may have got away with it. But once you have a big fire season and you don't have the people you need or the people trained, it really puts Manitobans at risk.
Well, a lot was lost this summer because the campgrounds and the trails were closed. Small business owners like Jesse Gunther hope the province will be able to clean up the extensive damage caused by the wildfires and everything will be reopened this spring. Kristen Annabelle, CBC News, Nopaming Provincial Park.
We're learning more about one of the victims in a double homicide near Victoria Beach this past summer. Glenn Thiebert says his son Sly was a big teddy bear who would never harm anyone. He and 41-year-old Melissa Wilson were both shot and killed in the RM of Victoria Beach in the early hours of June 20th. Glenn says his son worked as a commercial fisherman. He says arrests in his son's death come as little solace.
I've been getting phone calls all day and everybody's saying I should be happy. I'm not happy at all. It's not going to bring him back. It's not going to bring back Melissa.
Thiebert says his son and Wilson were friends, and they and the two men accused all lived in the area and knew each other. RCMP say the motive is still under investigation. Manitoba is on track to inject a significant number of U.S. doctors into the healthcare system. Recruiters have been tapping into the market because of the political climate south of the border. And now it seems physicians are beginning to make the move. The CBC's Josh Crabb reports.
There will be a new face this February working in the Brandon Regional Health Centre's emergency department.
I'm going to be working in academics as well as in clinical work. And that was the big draw, as well as coming home to friends and family, which you can't replace.
Manitoba-born doctor Arlie Traynor comes with 25 years' experience. She did her medical training in the United States and has been working as an emergency physician in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's a career opportunity, but Traynor says Trump administration policies were also a factor.
And if you combine that with facilitating an ease of transition between the countries, well, it's a no-brainer that you want to come here and practice.
College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba Registrar and CEO Dr. Ainsley Mahalchuk says changes this past March have made the transition easier. U.S.-trained and certified physicians can get a full license to practice in Manitoba without completing Canadian certification exams and don't need a supervisor.
We want people to practice in Manitoba who are safe to care for Manitobans, but we also have to recognize that the training in the United States is on par with the training in Canada.
Between 0 and 3 U.S. physicians have come to Manitoba annually over the past 5 years. Since the change in government south of the border last November, Manitoba has registered 10 physicians and has an additional 8 doctors with applications. Director of Registration Jeremy DeYoung calls that a significant increase and says there's anecdotal evidence it's partly because of the political climate in the U.S.
Particularly around women's health, we've heard some feedback about people wanting to be able to deliver that sort of care and that they can do it in alignment with their ethical commitments.
Traynor found out about the clearer pathway to practice in Manitoba at an emergency medicine conference in Montreal this past May.
The greatest advantage right now is I love that the brain drain is going the other way and that we're hearing how wonderful the Canadian system is and that people are seeing that in the U.S.
Manitoba has a total of around 80 physicians who got their medical training in the U.S. This year, the college says the province will see one of the most significant increases ever in American doctors moving north. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Most measles cases in Manitoba this year involve people who were not immunized. From February to October the 11th, there were about 250 measles cases. Nearly 90% of them were in people who didn't have a single measles vaccine. Since the outbreak began in Manitoba, 15 people have been hospitalized, 2 have gone to the ICU. Unlike other provinces, cases here are not yet dwindling. The province is reminding people to get vaccinated. All right, having a look at Osborne Village on what was another sunny day, a bit of a brighter day today across southern Manitoba. Let's bring in Darius Madavi now. And Darius, it was another chilly one.
Thanks, Riley. Well, yesterday we talked about how the night before we got down a couple degrees cooler than expected, down to -3. And it happened again yesterday. I mentioned that we'll probably see temperatures down around -3 in Winnipeg. In fact, we got down around -5. A number of places in the more southern parts of Manitoba seeing temperatures a little bit cooler than normal and a little bit cooler than expected. So not expecting to see that repeat because temperatures from here on out only climb. We can see that in terms of the highs that we had today, a little bit warmer than we got yesterday. Closer to right around normal, actually. But over the next couple of days, expect to see those continue to climb. We'll talk more about that later in the show. Other than that, lots of sunshine in southern Manitoba today. Cloud actually cleared out a little bit faster than expected there. In the north, we do still have a little bit of cloud, but nothing crazy. We'll return to our precipitation forecast in a little bit. But first, in terms of a skycast for tomorrow, overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, and then that cloud is pretty much gone entirely by tomorrow. Lots of sunshine on the way. Riley?
Thanks, Darius. Still ahead, a plea for answers. The family of a missing 24-year-old desperate to bring him home. That story's next. Welcome back. A northern Manitoba family is searching for any clue that could bring their loved one home. The 24-year-old went missing earlier this year in Thompson. And as the CBC's Felicia Adam reports, the man's family and loved ones are hoping to draw more attention to his disappearance.
please just tell us we're mine, baby. That's all I want is my son back.
An emotional plea for answers. Carla Sautier fought through tears speaking about her son.
And he would call, he wouldn't do that. My son wouldn't do that, I know him.
24-year-old Troy Gilbert Sautier was last seen leaving a home in Thompson earlier this year in May. Now, more than 5 months later, the family says they're living a nightmare.
Every day, every morning, every night, I'm thinking of my brother, where he is, the condition he's in.
According to RCMP, Troy Sautier is wanted in connection to multiple charges, including break and enter, sexual assault, and uttering threats. His father, Dwight Sautier, says police aren't doing enough, and he believes it's because of the charges against his son.
Right now, they're looking for a wanted man with warrants. They're not looking for my son as a human being that went missing and foul play might be involved.
The RCMP say they are investigating, that they're looking into any lead that could help solve Sautier's disappearance. In the summer, there was a ground search conducted in the area where Sautier was last seen, but nothing came of it. The family says they've been left in the dark.
They hung up on me 2 times just because I wanted information from them in Thompson, you know, and that's all I get from them. And they get no answers, no nothing.
Opipinapiwan Cree Nation Chief Shirley Ducharme wants every effort made to find Sautier.
We need attention. We need justice. And we need to ensure that Indigenous men and boys like Troy are not overlooked or forgotten.
The family is looking for closure and any information that could help bring him home. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Winnipeg chiropractor accused of filming patients without their knowledge is pleading guilty to the crime. Dr. Robert Stitt entered guilty pleas to 1 count of voyeurism in a Winnipeg courtroom on Wednesday. The offenses involved 8 female victims taking place between November of 2023 and January of 2024. Police seized 5 fake sprinkler heads that concealed cameras from Stitt's office that January. 7 additional counts of voyeurism against Stitt were stayed. He faces up to 6 months in prison and or a $2,000 fine. He will be sentenced at a later date. The owner of a small makeup company based in Salmon Arm, BC, has signed a contract with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Miss Mac Cosmetics will be supplying Bombers players and fans with non-toxic eye black that can also be used as face paint and makeup. The CBC's Jacqueline Gelino has more.
What started as a mother-son passion project in a basement in Salmon Arm has made it to the CFL. Missy McIntosh is the founder of Miss Mac Cosmetics, and now she's leaving her mark on Canadian football with a new product for players and fans. A non-toxic eye black that can be used as face paint and makeup.
I actually designed it with my son, who is now 14 and a half, out of a passion project after losing my dad. I wouldn't actually let Evan wear eye black for many years because I knew the ingredients that were in them. And during the sort of grieving process, I was like, hey, Evan, do you want to create an eye black? Essentially, it's like a black dense lipstick. We have the manufacturing. And he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Eye black is worn on players' cheeks to prevent eye glare from the sun or stadium lights.
So like you can, like if the fly ball's coming in, you can like track the ball better.
Since she already had the resources available to create an eye black, Missy and her son Evan got to work.
And we've had massive requests for proposals.
After creating a sun-reflecting product that Evan and his teammates liked, they also created a sweat-proof glitter that sticks to the eye black for a bit of added sparkle. The various colors can be used as eye black, face paint, and makeup. Evan and his teammates use the glitter when they want an edge.
There's a tradition, kinda.
Together, Evan and his mom presented the product on Dragon's Den and later caught the eye of sporting goods stores and professional athletes and teams, including the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
It's now just added to the game, and this product is something now for the players that they can use as well.
Wade Miller, president of the Blue Bombers, says in addition to the eye black's practical use, it's become a personal statement, with players using it like war paint to feel confident on the field and fans using it to connect with the athletes.
Kind of made it their own, and it's their own unique look and it may be all over their face, or it may be only on one side under one eye.
Now, Ms. Mack has signed the first ever partnership between a cosmetics company and the CFL. The product is already being worn by CFL players, but now, packaged in the Grit Kit, it will be unveiled to fans by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the Grey Cup Festival in November. Jacqueline Gelano, CBC News, Salmon Arm.
Very interesting and perhaps a bit useful with a Bombers game coming up this weekend, and of course the Grey Cup happening here in Winnipeg in early November. Before we get to the forecast, just wanted to say a happy birthday to my mom, who is celebrating her birthday today and probably watching tonight as well. Let's bring back Darius now. And Darius, I sure hope that we're in for a bit of a warmer and sunnier weekend this weekend.
Well, again, Riley, a bit of a chilly overnight period. Very cool in the early morning hours today, but not expecting to see that return in the next couple days. Temperatures continue to climb. First, let's talk about those lows, which shoot up pretty quickly as we get into tomorrow night. So again, tonight we're close to that freezing mark in southern Manitoba. Areas in the north pretty similar. But as we get into tomorrow night, across the board, across the province, we're seeing those temperatures climb, most dramatically in the south, but in the north as well, quite a bit above seasonal. Those temperatures in the south continue to climb and hold steady in the north as we get into Saturday night as well. Once we get through Sunday and into early next week, those temperatures will start to fall back down, but they'll remain higher longer than the highs will, because those lows, I mean, normally in Winnipeg this time of year, -3 is normal overnight. In terms of those highs, we are getting higher than normal here as well. 15, 16 degrees in southern Manitoba, 7 to 10 degrees up in the north. Those temperatures sticking around, again, right into the weekend, but by the time we get into early next week, you can expect them to start to fall back down as well. The one thing I wanted to mention is those winds that we're expecting to really start to pick up as we get into tomorrow in a few places. So first of all, in southern Manitoba, down in the southeast, including Winnipeg, places there, we're going to see them get up around 50, a little over 50 kilometers per hour by tomorrow morning. Once we get into the late Friday period, places in the northeast also see wind gusts shoot up to close to 50 kilometers per hour, places like Churchill. And once we get into the overnight period into Saturday, those strong winds will start gusting again into Saturday morning in the southeast as well. So tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, expect to see some of those strong winds if you're in southeastern Manitoba. Driving this is the larger scale pattern that we have, that high pressure that built in over Manitoba starting to move east, and with it lower pressure moving in from the northwest, and as that continues to happen, that air really wants to move up towards there, so those southeasterly winds, southeast southerly winds, really going to start blowing in the next couple days. But with that being said, still no precipitation really in sight until we get into early next week probably. Some more cloud will start to build in as we get through the weekend though, so if you're in northern Manitoba, we're going to see that cloud continue to come in and out. In southern Manitoba, it really starts to build in as we get into Sunday. Here's our 3-day forecast in Winnipeg for the next couple of days. Again, that cloud continues to build, especially once we get into Sunday. And if you want to see the 7-day, stick around for the end of the show.
And I hope there's some double digits there too. Thanks, Darius. Right, another Halloween haunting for you as we head to break. This one in the Monroe West neighborhood on Melbourne Avenue. We have more ahead right after the break. Stay with us. In the U.S. tonight, an NBA coach and a player are among dozens arrested in a massive mafia-linked gambling investigation. Authorities say one scheme focused on insider sports and betting and another on rigged poker games tied to the mafia to steal millions from victims over a number of years. The CBC's Katie Nicholson breaks it down for us.
Officials revealed 2 years-long sports gambling investigations, but had one message for the more than 30 accused.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
Unsealed today 2 alleged multi-million-dollar schemes, one using insider information to rig sports bets, and another in which sports celebrities were used to lure players into fixed, high-stakes card games, allegedly involving prominent New York organized crime families.
The Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
Among the accused today, Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. Court documents allege Rozier was involved in the betting scheme and that while playing for the Charlotte Hornets in 2023, he told associates he'd leave a game early with a head injury, allowing bettors to profit when his stats for the night were blown. Billups was charged in the poker game scheme, which police say used technology to give the house the upper hand.
They used custom shuffling machines that could read the order of cards, barcoded decks, and hidden cameras built into tables and light fixtures.
In a statement, the NBA said Rozier and Billups have been placed on immediate leave. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. It's a tough start for the new NBA season, which just kicked off and comes a year after the league banned a Raptors player for violating gambling policy. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
The federal and Ontario governments have announced plans to spend a total of $3 billion on building Canada's first 4 small modular nuclear reactors east of Toronto. The Darlington nuclear project is among a list of priority projects by Ottawa deemed to be in the national interest.
Canada's new government is putting forward $2 billion to build new clean energy technology, the first of its kind in Canada.
Carney says Canada will be the first G7 country to have this new kind of reactor. He says building and operating the 4 units will create thousands of jobs. The reactors will produce enough electricity to power 1.2 million homes once they're in operation. It's expected to come online in 2030. The Carney government is proposing changes in the criminal justice system targeting bail and sentencing. The new legislation takes aim at specific crimes and specific classes of criminals, making bail harder to get and sentences longer. Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham calls the proposed legislation a big step forward, but as David Thurton reports, some say it doesn't go far enough.
The Justice Minister introducing his government's tough on crime approach.
Today we are changing the law with a stronger focus on public safety.
Liberals tabled a bill changing the way repeat violent offenders are handled.
Canadians deserve to feel safe in their homes and in their communities.
The bill introduces harsher bail conditions for crimes involving car theft, break-and-enters, and sexual assault. The onus would be on the accused to prove why they should get bail, not on prosecutors to prove why they shouldn't. For sexual assault and sexual crimes against children, offenders will no longer be allowed to serve conditional sentences at home. The Liberals say the changes to the criminal code are in response to harrowing stories, like Michelle Bess's daughter Kelly. She was killed in January by an alleged drunk driver. He was out on bail when he stole a pickup truck. He crashed into her daughter's vehicle on a southern Manitoba highway.
It was very disappointing. I'm not only disappointed that the judge made that decision, but disappointed in the fact that the laws do not support her to make other decisions.
The issue is we need to scrap Liberal bail.
According to the Conservatives, these measures don't go far enough.
And that means that there will be a lot of very serious and rampant offenders who will once again be released into our streets, often within hours of their most recent arrest.
This defense lawyer says the changes the Liberals are proposing violate the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
I'm confident that this reverse onus
changes, that they will be struck down as being unconstitutional.
The Justice Minister's response to that?
You don't have to choose between public safety and your Constitution. You operate within your Constitution to advance the rules that you think are going to promote public safety. And my view is that's what we've done with this bill.
The minister openly says previous governments, including Liberals, haven't always gotten the approach to crime right. Today's bill, he says, is about correcting that. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
The union representing Canada's postal workers has lost a constitutional challenge against the federal government. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers challenged the back to work order that ended its job action last December, saying it was unconstitutional because it violated its right to strike. But the Canada Industrial Relations Board dismissed the complaint, saying the right to strike is essential but not absolute. However, it also said it has no authority to review the government's action. The decision comes in the middle of another postal workers' strike. The union is now asking the federal court to take up its challenge. A Conservative MP has been visiting a series of Canadian post-secondary schools to drum up support for his party with what he calls young men in crisis. It's a campus tour that seems to have been inspired by a similar push south of the border, led by a murdered right-wing activist linked to U.S. President Donald Trump. Kate McKenna has the details.
On Canadian campuses, the Conservatives are trying to build a movement of young men feeling left behind.
I think young men are kind of being abandoned in the education system. I think that we're being told that we shouldn't be welcome in certain spaces.
Men are just told not to, be proud. They're always told that, it's not good to be a man and blah, 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 things like that. Like things like man up and whatever. And it's hot, here and there, but sometimes it's good to be strong and just be a man.
Conservative MP Jamil Javani launched a campus tour starting in southern Ontario called Restore the North, where people are able to debate whatever they want, no matter how taboo. We were allowed to attend, but not film inside the event.
There's this idea that campuses are these dens of wokeness. But the reality is that university students can be really, really thoughtful.
I'm not running for anything. I want Trump to be president.
It was a format similar to another Conservative credited with building a youth movement, slain U.S. activist Charlie Kirk.
You, being a younger American, and everyone in the audience, is the first generation in American history to have it be worse off than your parents.
Though Kirk's comments on race and religion attracted heavy criticism, he's credited with growing the MAGA base, in part due to his push for free speech on campuses.
That kind of open, frankly, small L liberal free speech environment I think has been missing from campus for a number of years. And bringing that back, I think, creates a space for young people to engage in those debates.
Jamil Javani is expected to announce more tour dates in the weeks ahead. It comes at a time when the face of the Conservative base is shifting. In countries including Germany, the United States, and Canada, young men are increasingly looking to right-wing parties. Events like this could shore up even more support. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
All right, well, for baseball fans, you could call the day before the World Series Anticipation Day. And for Toronto Blue Jays fans, the anticipation is off the charts. Jamie Strachan has the story.
On the eve of the 2025 World Series, the eyes of the baseball world squarely on Toronto. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays, Game 1 here tomorrow night in Toronto. The narrative going into this series, interesting. The Blue Jays have home field. They won more games than the Los Angeles Dodgers did during the regular season. But a David versus Goliath narrative has emerged. The Dodgers and their powerful lineup, full of future Hall of Famers, against the Blue Jay team that's really been defined beyond stars like Guerrero and Bichette as a collection of guys that other people didn't believe in.
I think the one thing we cannot do is look over there and say that is Goliath. That is a beatable baseball team that has its flaws.
Going into this series, a number of question marks remain for the Toronto Blue Jays. First and foremost, will All-Star Bo Bichette be in the lineup for the World Series? Manager John Schneider was still cagey on that, saying that Bichette has been running, he's been hitting, he's been throwing, but we won't know until tomorrow whether he is on the official World Series roster. One surprise, though, however, many thought the pattern of Kevin Gosman, who had started Game 1 of the ALDS, started Game 1 of the ALCS, would be the Game 1 starter in the World Series. Not the case. The Blue Jays going with rookie phenom Trey Yesavage, the 22-year-old who only has 6 career starts, 3 in the regular season and 3 in the postseason, will get the ball for the biggest game of his life.
He gets Raleigh.
Got back to my hotel room. First call was to my girlfriend. Had to get a flight in line for her to come up here and see it. Second call was to my parents.
So there you have it, a story of 2 very different teams. The Blue Jays making it back to the World Series for the first time since 1993. The Dodgers, no stranger to baseball's biggest event. They look to repeat as World Series champions and have been to the Fall Classic numerous times over the last few years. Game 1 tomorrow night in Toronto. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Overseas now to a historic moment earlier at the Vatican. King Charles and Pope Leo had a joint prayer service inside the Sistine Chapel. This marks the first time in about 500 years that a British monarch and Pope have prayed together. The moment is seen as a powerful gesture toward unity between Anglicans and Catholics. Coming up, if you have traveled through Osborne Village, you've likely seen construction underway at the former subway location. More on what's planned for the corner and when you can expect to see it complete after the break. New data from Statistics Canada shows 4 out of 5 teens in this country aren't getting enough physical activity. The latest numbers show that from 2022 to 2024, only 21% of youth were meeting physical activity recommendations. That's compared to 36% from 2018 to 2019. And the age group with the most significant declines were youth between 12 and 17 years old.
That's not very surprising. With the new age of technology and things, kids are less incentivized to move to be able to do what they want because the internet is giving them all those possibilities just on their phone.
I think that we are on our phones a little too much, and that that sometimes instead of moving our bodies, we decide to just go on our phone instead.
Okay, so that's what a couple of teens outside Grant Park High School had to say about the data. They placed the blame on screen time and social media, but one scientist says social media can't take all the blame.
Definitely, it is a big contributor, a big culprit. I wouldn't say it's the only issue. I think, the lack of, going outdoors. I think in terms of increased focus on academics, and those core subjects, away from movement, thinking that, having gym class or having opportunities to move is something that, displaces more focused time on seated schoolwork and learning.
Teenage girls were the furthest behind on physical activity compared to boys. Only 8% of girls aged 12 to 17 were found to be meeting the recommendations in the latest data period. Well, it was a catch of prehistoric proportions.
Check out, these dudes caught a sturgeon. Beautiful, look at that thing.
Have a look at this. Last weekend, a local fisherman at the Forks caught a 1.3 meter long sturgeon, which is Manitoba's largest freshwater fish. This video has since gone viral, garnering over 200,000 views on social media. Lake sturgeon were once plentiful in the Assiniboine and Red Rivers, as well as other parts of the Lake Winnipeg system. They were, however, believed to have been extirpated in some areas due to overharvesting. But the province's fisheries manager says it's not as rare anymore to find sturgeons.
People now know to replace and return those large fish back to the river because that's the breeding segment of the population. And that's what's causing the recovery of sturgeon in the Red River and other places in Manitoba, is that we now know that if we can protect those large female fish, that it'll help generate more sturgeon for future populations.
Anyone who catches a sturgeon is encouraged by the province to get the fish back into the water as soon as possible. A census of sorts is being conducted in parts of the Alberta foothills. It's not people being tallied, but eagles. Dave Gilson reports.
There's one on the right peak, and then there's one in the dip.
Volunteers with the nonprofit Rocky Mountain Eagle Research Foundation have been out pretty well every day over the past month near Mount Lorette in Kananaskis country as part of the organization's annual fall golden eagle count. They say the work, which includes fall and spring counts, is part of an important citizen science initiative that's been running since 1992. Sightings go into a count report and eventually a database as part of broader efforts to better understand the birds.
But when you do these counts over a long period of time, then you can pick up trends. And the trend that we're seeing here is that the numbers are gradually declining.
They count other birds, but mainly focus on the eagles. The viewing site sits along a major golden eagle migratory route extending from Mexico to Alaska. The birds ride updrafts generated by weather and mountain topography. In recent years, the foundation says it's seen an average of 3,000 golden eagles during the fall count and about 2,200 during the spring count. The volunteers say their highest daily count so far this fall was more than 300.
It's just thrilling when you get these big days. It's actually thrilling just to see one or two as well. They're magnificent birds. They're amazing.
More information on the initiative and how to participate are on the Foundation's website. Dave Gilson, CBC News, Kananaskis Country.
All right, you're looking at some of the traffic. No doubt some heading to the Jets game. Let's get back to Darius in our Manitoba forecast.
All right, it's that time again. Riley, big thanks to Linda for sending in this photo of Bolt, an adorable pup. Looks a little mischievous. Hope he didn't get into too much trouble. But it looks like a sunny-ish day. here, and that's what we're getting tomorrow, so I thought it was an appropriate photo to choose. Tomorrow, temperatures climb back up, warmer than seasonal in Winnipeg, a couple degrees warmer, getting up around 10 degrees by the end of the day, but we're still chilly in the morning, so keep that in mind. Pretty much sunny right through the day, though. That cloud that we do have clearing out for the most part entirely overnight. So things look pretty good there. In terms of what's normal, I've touched on this a couple times already in the show, but we've gotten up above 8 degrees again today, so a little bit warmer than normal, which is 7. The overnight low, though, quite chilly, getting down close to -5, or right at -5, I should say. And then the records, of course, much more dramatic than what we're seeing, but temperatures do climb pretty high as we get into the next couple days. Now, with the weather being so tame, I should say, in Manitoba, I thought we'd explore a little bit of what's happening more exciting in other parts of the country. So first, let's zoom into the East Coast, where in Newfoundland we have a rainfall warning in place, 50 to 75 millimeters coming here as we see some strong storms roll through. Potentially some areas could see even higher than that in those thunderstorm areas as that precipitation rolls through. But to be honest, as long as we don't see much any flooding, this could be good news. This is an area that has been pretty heavily affected by drought, as we'll be able to see as soon as this map loads in. Just give it a couple more seconds, and in a moment, we'll see there we go, some pretty nasty drought conditions in parts of Atlantic Canada. Now, also some exciting news over here on the West Coast, where I am. We have some rainfall warnings and wind warnings in place, winds gusting over 100 kilometers per hour, rainfall easily over 120 millimeters in places on the West Coast. So pretty dramatic situation here, for the most part, being driven by a phenomenon that a lot of people here on the West Coast are a little bit scared of. It's called an atmospheric river, big train of moisture coming in across the Pacific. To be honest, they're not usually a big problem. A third to half of our precipitation every year on the West Coast comes from these things, but still, we've had some nasty ones in recent years, so a little bit of hesitation there, people on this coast when we hear that term. With that being said, really quick to wrap up, brief visit back to Manitoba. Temperatures again getting chilly tonight, but we will see those continue to climb in the next couple days. 7-day forecast coming out.
Thanks, Darius. Well, if you've been through Osborne Village lately, you've probably noticed a lot of work happening at the corner of Osborne and River. For more, I'm with Nick Kowalchuk from the Gas Station Arts Centre. Thanks for your time.
Oh, not a problem.
How exciting is it to see this?
Oh, it's been great. It's great. It's great to change the circle around and get it into our courtyard.
So what is happening here?
So we're taking the courtyard and we're going to just create a new entranceway going to the corner of our building, and that'll be our eventual new entranceway to the theater.
Okay. And when are you hoping to have some of this to a state where you can actually see something happening?
Oh, well, we'll do as much as we can now, and then we'll finish off with the addition of all the trees and all the plants in the springtime, because it's probably too late now to get it all completed.
What sparked this change? Like, why now? Why start making this renovation happen here now?
Well, we wanted to direct people into our courtyard that is used for our events, and so we wanted to kind of focus the entranceway, and then again, when the rental unit opens up, then they'll have a courtyard as well that'll be fenced in, and lots of plants and a lot of greenery around it, so we're excited by that.
What would you like to see go into this unit now that Subway has moved into another location?
Again, we're going to have a restaurant, bar, coffee shop, whatever the case may be, that will work and supply the folks who are here that are coming to our events, that they'll be able to then offer up again concessions for our events and for Osborne Village as well.
What does it mean to see this happening in the village right now? I mean, the village has been in the news for incidents involving the police down in this area and whatnot, safety concerns people have. What does it mean to see this happening here now and sort of starting that revitalization in some ways?
Well, it is good because, again, it's an upswing that is happening, again, in Osborne Village and in Winnipeg, right? Like there's always ebbs and flows of any community, and so we're excited by this on our corner.
I mean, since you've seen, I guess, more of a police presence here in Osborne Village, have you noticed things kind of picking up again to perhaps maybe where they were previously?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been great, and I think that the community policing has really helped, and they get to know people in the area, and so they can have discussions with any incident that may happen or whatever the case is, and so I think it's really a positive sign.
And through all this, the gas station is staying open.
Oh, absolutely. So we've got alleyways fenced in so that the events that happen. We just had the Improv Festival last weekend. We've got D&D October 31st. So things are happening, and we'll be they're doing the construction in a little bit of a downtime on this week that we're here.
I know a lot of curious eyes with the construction that's been happening here at the corner of Osborne and River here. What should people know before they come into the village with what's happening here?
Well, again, it's just an upgrade, right? So that we had grand plans of having housing above us, but we're just now going to fixing up our community in our corner.
All right, Nick, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
Okay, so what's the secret to a long life? This lady tells us next. The brazen robbery on Sunday from the Louvre in Paris made for shocking headlines around the globe. But when a German manufacturer found out one of their crane lifts was used by the criminals, they decided to make hay from the heist.
Luckily for us, most of the people got the humor and know that we are not involved in the robbery, and we were very pleased with the reaction so far.
The company posted a social media advertisement using the image of their lift outside of the museum. The ad in German says, "When you need it to go fast." Once they knew no one was injured, the company says it decided to have some fun with the unexpected attention. Their lifts are usually made to hoist heavy furniture.
Well, Riley, like we've talked about, temperatures in southern Manitoba climbing quite a bit above seasonal. In Winnipeg in particular, we're talking almost 10 degrees as we hit 16 degrees this weekend. We will start to see more cloud build in as we get into the end of the weekend, but tomorrow and Saturday look beautiful and sunny. Sunday, that cloud does start to come in pretty early in the morning, but we should see some sunshine there as well. A few showers do roll in early next week, and we'll see temperatures start to fall back down to close to normal. But the showers don't last long, and honestly, the precipitation total shouldn't be too high. I know southern Manitoba has seen a lot more precipitation than normal already in October so far, so I'm sure a few sunny days won't be, people won't be too upset about it. Riley?
I won't be. Thanks, Darius. A Vancouver senior celebrating her 100th birthday, Kay Chung marked her centennial with loved ones and community members. Her secret to a long, healthy life is our daily lift.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I always I don't take a bus or a taxi. I like to walk. Walk up and some more. I eat watch, don't much to beat. That's it.
Casey missed it. Lots of walking, veggies, and less meat. Mrs. Chung, as she's affectionately known, says she's never thought she'd make it to 100, nor that so many people would be celebrating her. Last year, she was randomly attacked while walking to get groceries. That, though, kick-started regular safety seminars by the police at her seniors' housing complex. Her other secret to staying spry, though, lots of karaoke. I'm not much of a karaoke guy. I was in choir when I was young, but karaoke, probably seen some better days there for me. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.